Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update, sponsored by Tax Network USA, America's #1 choice for tax resolution. Please go to tnusa.com/bill or call 800-245-6000. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It's Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. Here's what's happening today in America. Day 2. Thanks for nothing. Out of prison and looking for a job. That's all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, Barack Obama and Michele Obama speaking last night at the Democratic National Convention. Barack said they, conservatives, will tell you that the government is inherently corrupt. Yes, that's right. Guilty on that one. That sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. Michele Obama said, America, hope is making a comeback. No one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American. Speaking of Kamala, the steel of her spine, the steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her light. That was about the depth of the policy that was mentioned in their speeches. Lil Jon made an appearance during roll call. It's all very exciting. Put this one in the Where Were You Last Year file. House Republicans released a 292-page report on Joe Biden, saying he engaged in impeachable conduct. The totality of the corrupt conduct uncovered by the committees is egregious. They say that he conspired to commit influence peddling and grift and abused the office, lying about his abuse of office, and defrauded the United States to enrich his family. And where were you guys last year? A former Minnesota police officer who was convicted in the death of George Floyd has been released from prison. Thomas Lane, he's now 41, pleaded guilty in May of 2022 to state charges of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Derek Chauvin was convicted on murder charges. He was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. The Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, said Thomas Lane has served his time, paid his debt to society. I wish him well in his reentry into his community. The New York Federal Reserve had a poll of consumers. They found 28.4% of respondents said they're looking for a job. That's the highest reading since March 2014. This suggests that the economy is worsening. The New York Fed also said the increase in job searchers most pronounced for people over 45 without a college degree and whose household income is less than $60,000 a year. Also, people's expectation of becoming unemployed hit a record high. I'm Mike Slater from Politics by Faith. Bill O'Reilly with your message of the day. Next.
Are you feeling the impact of recent timeshare industry changes? Now more than ever, the costs of timeshare ownership far outweigh the benefits. My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you get out. Our listeners' positive feedback demonstrates why I've supported the company for years. For more than a decade, they have helped over 20,000 owners get out of the timeshare. Their exclusive options can help you get out faster and easier, more than any other option in the country. They are the only company that will give you a written guarantee and release you from your timeshare in a specific time frame. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau, thousands of 5-star reviews, customer service is their top priority. For free consultation and a guaranteed solution, please call 855-551-7066. That's 855-551-7066, or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Wednesday, President Biden delivered his final major address in Chicago on Monday, very late at night, when the chief executive is usually deep in the land of Nod. In said speech, Mr. Biden touted the tremendous success of his administration, aided immensely by Vice President Harris. A world away, the Taliban grinned. Otherwise, the Democratic convention had a rather Alice in Wonderland feel to it. Despite high inflation, growing social disorder, chaos overseas, and political hatred at home, the Dems were delirious with joy over their party standing. The White Rabbit understood. Outside the convention center, Planned Parenthood signed up women for free abortions. Inside, there was great pride in promoting the mass destruction of the unborn. Now, my family were once Kennedy-style Democrats. The Biden-Harris party could not be further away from that. So what happened? In fact, the convention Dems are closer to the right-wing bomb thrower, Barry Goldwater, who once said, quote, "Extremism in defense of liberty is no vice." Well, I don't know about any liberty here, but there is plenty of extremism on display in Chicago. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. Okay, let's go to the mail. We got Steve Hunt, Whitney, Texas. At this moment in time, America is more divided than any time since 1860. Democratic Party and other far-left groups don't understand capitalism. Will there be a secessionist movement? No, because Americans live too comfortably. Even the poor in this country have far more than middle class in most other countries. There's not going to be any violence or secession or anything like that. Political process will play out, in my opinion. John Gannon, New Orleans. I'm planning to vote for Trump, but listening to him speak drives me crazy. I can hear the race slipping away with ever meander. If you just took about news items you're talking about, O'Reilly, with the same precision, he would win. Well, you know, the president has ample opportunity to see what we're doing here, and I think he knows what we're doing here. Margaret Sullivan, Manhasset, New York. When watching tonight's commentary on the Trump-Vance operation, Donald Trump's lack of focus on the key issues, Vance not responding to invitations, my husband stated, it's sounding like the failed Romney-Ryan campaign. Not yet. Not yet. There's time for Trump-Vance to turn it around because they got the issues on their side. They absolutely do. Edward, the judge will send Trump to jail. I guarantee it. Edward, I'll put huge money on that. Donald Trump is not going to prison. Not. Okay? And I'll make a bet with anybody for charity. Not going to do it. William Lampman, Malton, New Jersey. So now the push is to vote early. Why would they be doing that, Bill? I don't trust what happened in the last election. I want to vote the night of the election. Well, 50 states dictate how you vote. So the federal government has nothing to do with it. Some states allow you to vote well in advance, and there's nothing anybody can do about that. Under the Constitution, the states have the right to set their own voting procedures. Whether you trust it or not, I mean, it's up to you. In a moment, something you might not know. Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. But there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. So please call or text them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Now the O'Reilly update brings you something you might not know. 161 years ago today, a group of Confederate terrorists raided the town of Lawrence, Kansas. The attack, one of the most despicable acts of the entire Civil War. Here is the story. In the mid-19th century, the Kansas Territory was torn apart by violent clashes between abolitionists and pro-slavery people. In 1861, Kansas was admitted to the Union as a free state. For the next 2 years, towns fought each other over the slavery issue. On the morning of August 21st, 1863, 400 Confederate fighters under the command of a sadistic killer named William Quantrill rode into the abolitionist town of Lawrence. Quantrill and his gang were part of a paramilitary group that terrorized civilians from Texas to Missouri. Their mission? To demoralize Union support along the frontier. While the city's 2,000 residents slept, the terrorists ransacked homes, stores, and churches. They shot civilians, both black and white, sexually assaulted women. The terrorists killed the town's preacher, mayor, and anti-slavery leaders. In total, 200 people were murdered, and the city of Lawrence burned to the ground. After Robert E. Lee's surrender, the Union Army found Quantrill and his band in Kentucky. He was shot in the back of the head and died on June 6, 1865, at 27 years old. And here's something else you might not know. The raid on Lawrence, Kansas, just one example of terrorism during the Civil War. Confederates often attacked civilians in Missouri, Kansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. More than 10,000 non-combatants were killed in those raids. Some guerrillas continued their rampage long after the Civil War ended, including a 16-year-old boy who joined a band of bushwhackers in Missouri. His reign of terror lasted another 2 decades. We know him as Jesse James. Back after this. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. This protection plan is at an all-time low in price. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925-7584. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.